everybody. How are you today? Yay! Welcome to Pilates Sculpt. My name is Audra. And as most of you know, don't do anything that doesn't feel right for your body. Always listen to what your body is saying. Feel free to take breaks. Feel free to modify. I'm always happy to offer modifications. Today, we're going to use weights and a ball. If you don't have access to weights and a ball, no problem. You can just squeeze your own beautiful muscles or use canned goods, water gallon jugs, wine bottles, whatever you have available. And then for the ball, if you don't have one, you can take a pillow and fold it a couple times just to help you get that upper back extension. And if you're like, I don't have a pillow I want to use, you don't have to use it. It's fine. We're all going to start standing. Join me. So first, we're just going to do a little scan, right? Little body scan. So just kind of shift your weight forward and back on your feet a couple of times and see where your weight naturally wants to fall. And just notice what your ankles are doing, right? Maybe you're on your toes and you're already in some like ankle dorsiflexion. Maybe you're on your heels and you're kind of in a plantar flex position. And just shift your weight a couple times to find center. And then just notice your knees, right? Maybe they're bent, maybe they're hyperextended, or maybe they're right over the ankle. Let's bend and straighten them a couple times and see if we can find just that nice neutral. And then kind of the same with the hips, right? Are they tucked? Are they like forward? And we're just gonna move into that posterior tilt and then anterior tilt, posterior tilt, and then find neutral. And then ribs, right? Are they elevated, compressed? Let's kind of move them a couple times. And then find right over the hips and then shoulders, kind of move them forward and back a couple times. Yeah. You can do this with the arms down or touching your shoulders, whatever feels better. And then notice your head, right? If it's forward, bring it back just a couple times. Yeah. Good. Now, find your neutral in a relaxed position. We're always going to try to like set here and then move. So we're going to nod our chin, rolling down one bone at a time, as if you're peeling a sticker off the wall, and just kind of see where your body stops today. And you can take your hands to one side, get a little bit of a stretch through that outer quad, hamstring. Told you guys I was tired today. And then we're going to go to the other side. And come back to center and just see how that feels. And then step one foot out to the side. So it's a wide stance. You're going to bend that knee, shift your weight close to that bent knee and get a little inner thigh stretch. Doesn't have to be huge. And then other direction. Just kind of notice where your restriction starts, right? And back and forth one more time. So this isn't a range where we're trying to force a huge range. We're just trying to see where we stop, hold for a second, and then other side. And come back to center. Let your spine just dangle. And then we can come on to hands and knees if that feels appropriate. So with hands and knees, if your wrists are like, I hate this, you can always come on to your forearms. You can always hold on to weights. Now, as we're here, we're going to try to maintain this neutral spine, push the floor away, and on your exhale, just lift one hand, push that hand into the ground, exhale, other side. Good. So I always think of this as little kitty cat paws, right? We're just making biscuits. It doesn't have to be huge. If, as you try to lift your hand, your body wants to do a big shift, you don't even have to fully lift the hand. You can always just come up onto your fingertips. Right? Using that breath, just noticing. Couple more here. Good. And two. Last one. And then you can bring your hands back. Now slide one foot out. Good. Just notice if your hip shifted, and we slide it back in. Other side. Now, when we start doing full bird dogs, right? Keep in mind, it's not about lifting your leg as high as it can go. It's about pushing your foot directly behind you so you can challenge the stability of your spine while accessing your glute, right? So it's better to keep it kind of low than really high, right? And if you are like, okay, with my foot on the ground, I'm really stable. As soon as I lift it, I'm not. No problem. You can either keep the foot on the ground or find a wall and push into the wall to create just a little bit more stability, right? Good. Nice, you guys. Couple more. Now you are welcome to stick with this. Or you can come into your full plank and you can bend one knee and then other side. If you need to stay in a knee plank, no problem. Just make sure that your hips are lifted and you can tap out or just stay in a knee plank. Good. Katie, that looks good, but I want you to tuck your tailbone a little bit more. Yeah. Good. And 2. Last 1. Knees down. Press yourselves into your rest position. Good. You're welcome to roll out your wrists. We are going to do a couple more plank variations. So if that's not going to work for you, just be prepared. You can always do quadruped variations, or you can take a break. You can also do some of this standing. Okay. So we're coming back into our plank. And we're going to tap a toe out and then other side. If you're in knee plank, hey, guess what? It's the same thing. If your shoulders don't love being in a plank today, you can always plank against a wall, right? Couple more. And 2. Last set. Good. Knees down and press yourselves back. Lovely. Nancy got excited. You almost kicked the light over onto yourself. All right. Now we're all coming into a knee plank. So with the knee plank, it's tempting to kind of let the hips sink, but I want you to bring your hands forward, lift your ribs, squeeze your glutes, and then come forward. Yeah. Dion, you're kind of here. Yep. Round your back. There you go. Good. Now, tuck your tailbone for me just a little bit. Yeah, gorgeous. Now, if you are ready for it, tuck your toes under, press and lift into your full plank. Then you slowly hinge down into your knee plank to tap and then bring it back. Nancy, don't lose the shoulder engagement. So hinge around your shoulder joint. Yeah. And then lift. Good. We have 3 more. Lift your whole body up as you lift. Yeah, there you go. Stephanie, tuck your tailbone a little bit more for me as you come up. Yep, whole body there. Gorgeous. Yes. 2, and of course, breaks are great. Last 1. Knees can come down. We are going to come into a side plank. So whatever version of a side plank you need is where you should be. So where we're going to start is on our hips and hand. So go ahead, sink into your shoulder for a second, like, oh, hey, what's up? And then push the floor away. Think of kind of suction cupping the shoulder in the socket. And then maybe this is where you stay. Otherwise, you can push your knees into the floor, lift your hips. Yeah, and then gorgeous. Maybe stay here. Maybe you're like, okay, I got this. I'm gonna brush my top knee up and then back down. Yeah. Gorgeous. Maybe that's too easy, in which case you can come into your full plank It's a lot harder though, because I have to like really get my bottom ankle strong. And then you can either rotate or bring it up and down. 2 more. Last one. We get to do that other side. Come on to the hip and hand. Maybe you like to be on your forearm for a side plank, that's fine. Feel free to sink into it to start and then push it away. We're never sinking into that shoulder again. And press into the floor. And maybe you lift your hips. Maybe, yeah, doing that on the forearm is way easier. Yeah. So, good. And maybe you come into full plank and you externally rotate. Good. We have 4, 3, 2, last 1, hips down. We're going to turn onto our back real quickly. Go ahead, make sure that your toes are pointing forward. Close your ribs a little bit. Press down into your big toe mound and try to find your underbutt as you peel yourself into a bridge. I know technically underbutt is not a technical term, but that's where I want your focus. At the top of your bridge, check in. If your weight is on your neck, or you're lifting from your armpits, or you feel tension in your back, let your hips lower, sink your sternum away from your face. Now slowly hinge down, let your hips almost graze the floor, and then press into your feet and bring it back up. Slowly start to lower, press and lift, keeping your ribs drawing towards your belly button. Now, if that's really easy and you're like, I want to ramp this up, fantastic. Hold at the top, float one leg to tabletop. Now you can hip hinge, press down, hold. Slowly lower. Really push down into your toe as well as your heel. So we're getting our deep calf muscles. We're getting our hamstring as well as the glute. Yeah? Of course, your core has to be working too. Last one, we hold it up, switch legs. If you are still on both legs, it's great. You just get to do extras. Hip hinge down, press, and lift up. So once again, we're trying to find the whole foot, not just the heel. Trying to find a little bit of hamstring and ultimately that glute max. Couple more. How's everybody feeling? Great? Good. 2. Last one, hold. Step that foot down. Now we're up. We're going to hold up for a second. Now, if you were already in that tabletop, great. You're going to lift and we're marching, okay? Trying to keep the hips still and stable. If you did not feel comfortable in the tabletop position, lift just your heel. You can keep your toes down, okay? It's just challenging that pelvic stability, right? And then if you're like, okay, I got the heel up, I want to challenge it, just sneak your foot up a tiny bit and then bring it back down, right? You lift and then bring it down. Good. Couple more. Whatever your level is today is great. 2 more. Last set. Come all the way down and roll all the way up, whether you use your legs or just your abs. Good. We're coming all the way to standing, you guys. I saw that side eye. So go ahead and first, and if you've already grabbed like a yoga block because you enjoy using the yoga blocks, you're welcome to use them for this. So Squeeze your inner thighs together like you're trying to pop a balloon. Push your feet into the floor and just lift one foot. Yeah, just notice what your body did, right? Did it shift? Did it hike? Right? Or were you like very structurally sound? And think about squeezing that glute forward slightly as if we were in our bridge. And then we brush that leg out to the side. Good. So, yeah, one fingertip on the wall is perfect if your balance is maybe not it's 100% today. Yeah, good. Now, watch your knee here. And as you go out to the side, if it comes forward, your TFL is trying to help. So keep it at least in line, if not back slightly. Yeah, good. Yeah, that looks great. Good. 2. Last one, and we get to hold. Let's hold it out for 5, for 4, 3, nice. 2, everybody feeling that glute kicking in a little? Yeah. Or a lot? Great, and then we bring it back down. Now, we're going to bend this knee that was our standing knee, can tap the other toe, and we're going to hip hinge. So as this knee comes forward, I would like it in line with your second and third toe. If it's in, it's just added pressure on the knee. So use your glute and your arch to keep it there. And we hip hinge. So we are rotating our hip bones around our thigh bone, push into the floor, bring it up. Now, oh, be careful. Now, if you're like, this is really easy, I want more work, we can always do that. There are a couple different things we can do. One is more work because it's less stable. And all you do is lift the foot, right? One is more work because it's more stable and we've closed your kinetic chain. I actually love that one. You put a foot against the wall or a couch. And when you hip hinge, you push into both feet. Yeah, good. Whichever one you want to be your option, whether it's toe down, foot on the wall, or foot up, is fine by me. And we're trying to make sure that the stable knee stays bent, because a lot of times in life, we tend to want to go into knee extension before hip extension, right? That's especially true if we have tight hip flexors. So we're trying to find hip extension before knee extension. We have just a couple more here. Good, 2. Last one, keeping that knee bent. And we get to hold it down this time. So hold it down, really try to find that eccentric, like lengthened, like contraction, right? Now, we're just tapping the other foot out, bringing it in, shoulders relaxed. Now, if you've ever done scooter on the reformer, right? If you imagine pushing into like the reformer, there's a spring back effect. You can use just your imagination to get more work in this back leg. You could also think about dragging that toe or pushing it away through wet sand. Good. How's that standing glute feeling, everybody? Amazing, yeah. Once again, if you need a little assist, you can always push into the wall, right? If possible. Yeah, that's okay. So instead, that's a great question. Yes, if you can keep your hips like level, that's ideal. If you feel it drop, then just be like, okay, I'm going to try to keep, adjust it, see if you could do. A lot of times what will happen, we have like 2 more, unless you need a break, in which case take a break, right? Yeah, good. Now, we're going to add on, come on up. We'll talk about that in 1 second. Lift your foot and then hip hinge tap. Now push, squeeze, lift, hip hinge tap. Yeah, now, a lot of times as our glute gets tired, especially if it's a little bit weaker or doesn't have the stamina, what's going to happen is that tailbone's actually going to point towards that leg, which will create a little internal rotation, right? which then creates that TFL. So instead of being like, okay, I have to find that placement of my hips, think about your tailbone pointing the opposite direction. It's less likely to overcorrect, right? Okay, yeah. Couple more. 2. Now we get to tap, hold. Think about this front leg only. We're going to drag it down, small knee bend, push down and come up. All right, so it's not quite a lunge. We're not super upright here. We're actually in a split squat. So the difference is a lunge is very upright, weight between both legs. It's a lot more demand on that quad. A split squat, the hips are kind of pointing back a little bit. The chest is about over mid-thigh or knee, and most of your weight is on that front leg. Yeah? Good. Yeah, this one, your glute is screaming. This, there's a lot of quad, maybe your knee hates it, right? Like, we have 2 more. How's everybody doing? So good? Yeah. Yeah. Last one. And come on up out of that. Hey, if you need a little figure 4 stretch, that's great. You might notice that I'm touching the wall here because as soon as that glute starts to stretch on me, my balance falters. Couple breaths. So I have fantastic news, you guys. We get to do the other side. It's mostly fantastic because we're not doing the same side again yet. All right, when you're ready, you guys are like, yeah, inner thigh, squeeze them, push into the floor, get to lift that foot. And just see what your body says. Yeah, now, maybe you're like me, and this side is tighter, and you can tell because the knee just kind of comes forward more. If that's the case, really kind of think of sending it back a little bit. And just notice if on this side your body's like, okay, I got to do something to balance. Maybe that's something. Holding onto the wall, no problem. Maybe that something is doing an external rotation, right? Good. A few more. So with this abduction, right, we're trying to stabilize on our frontal plane, right? Yes, like a mime in a box or like a can-can dancer, right? The world's worst can-can dancer in the world. Good. Couple more. Yeah. 3. Trying not to let the hip hike. So we're trying to keep that core stability. Yeah, doing great. Let's also see that barrel with that handle. Touch it. Yeah. So much easier, right? Boom. Last one. Good. And then bring it in. We get to hip hinge. So bend that knee forward. Once again, we're trying to make sure that the knee is in line with that second and third toe. And once again, if that tailbone is like, I'm helping, point it the other way. And we hip hinge. Good. Push into your foot to bring it up. Good. Widening through your sits bones, trying to keep your neutral spine here. And that just means we're not arching, we're not rounding. Right? Once again, you can always push into the wall if you need a little bit more support. I will say, if you're choosing this option, it is a lot more glute. So just be prepared. If you're like, okay, I want to challenge myself, but not like that. So you float that foot. Good. As you breathe, inflate into your back. Good. How's everybody feeling? So good? Good. Thank you guys. Nancy, how you doing? Good. Couple more. Good. 2. All right, guess what? We get to hold it. And we get to tap or slide the foot behind us, right? Now, here's the thing. If you're like, oh my God, I can't hold myself up, touch the wall, touch a stable, supportive place, and then maybe take some of the weight off of it, right? And then you can push. And make sure that you're finding activation through your foot and your glute, right? So if you tend to like to roll out onto the blades of your feet, that's your body trying to cheat the system. And I want you to keep your big toe mound down, nice big toe spread. Good. Few more. Good. We have 4, 3. Oh, anybody else's glute just on fire? Yeah, yeah. Okay. We're going to come up and then we hip hinge and tap. And then we hip hinge up, balancing, keeping those ribs gently drawing in. Press into your, it looks great. Are you kidding? I want see what Katie's doing. Yeah. I want you to try it. Yeah. Good. Couple more. You okay, Dion? It's trying so hard to help. All right, but guess what? This is our last one like this. And then we're going to tap, drag ourselves down into that split squat, press up. Once again, we don't need to be here. We're not doing a full lunge. Oh, we're staying down, yeah. Letting the knee move. So we're moving at the ankle, knee, and hip joint. Rotate your left hip bone towards me. Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole new world. Yeah. Good. Yeah. A few more. How's everybody feeling? Amazing? Good. We have 3. And of course, if you need a break, you take 1. Otherwise, we have 2 more. Last one. And come on up. Figure 4 stretch. Ah. You guys are amazing. Those aren't easy. You all look like you're regretting all of your life choices. Is everybody okay? All right, we're gonna start slow on this next one. We're just gonna step to the side and other side. Seems easy, right? But how often are we actually stepping on this frontal plane, right? Now, if we're like leading with the hip or sinking away, see if you can think of pushing down and out in order to push you over, right? Push down and out. Yeah. Now maybe this is where you stay. No problem. Otherwise, we're going to change it up. You're going to nice wide stance, sink into one leg, push yourself up, balance, hold. Then step it out, other side. Yeah. And notice if one side is much more stable than the other, right? Good. We sink, we press. Now, yeah. So as we do this, maybe make like sock puppet hands, right? Or spirit fingers or jazz hands, or push your hands together, right? Any of those are going to help stimulate your nervous system enough that it'll offer a little bit of support, okay? Good. Almost there. Good. think about your inner thigh helping. So yes, of course, glute, but also inner thigh. See if that allows for a more structurally sound position. Yeah, amazing. And then we bring our feet together. Be careful about your range here. Want to make sure it feels good. So we're going to slide our foot back and behind us a little bit. So if when you look, your knee is going this way and your foot is going this way, think about that glute helping your foot. We're just going to sink everything down. Hold, rotate towards that front leg. And then back. So now we're just on that transverse plane. Notice how Katie rotates that way. Yeah. Good. 3 more. 2. Huh? It's like a small descent, but it's not huge. It's more about standing. In order for me to get my thigh bone back, I kind of have to lower. 2. Last 1. And then come on up. Other side. So we're just getting transverse plane a little bit, right? Once again, making sure that if your knee is going one way and your foot's going the other, we're using the strength of our glute to help us. And we hold down and we rotate. And then rotate. Maybe you're perfectly still and stable and just rotating through your rib cage. Maybe you're descending slightly. Whatever feels better for you and your body today is what I'd like you to do. You have 4. Looks way more stable. 3. 2. Last 1. Nice job, you guys. We're going to come onto our knees. Now what we're going to do is kind of see what our body strategy is. Slide one leg forward, bring it down. Now, on your exhale, lift the knee, see if you can balance for a second. And bring it back. Other side. Yeah, good. And then lift and hold, and back down. Yeah, and I'm going to turn my mat so I can face you guys, see everybody. Yeah, so fun, right? So just notice what your body wants to do to get there. So for example, on this side, my knee wants to come out to the side. And on this side, my foot wants to come out to the side. It wants to do this like weird little like snake move. So if you notice that, that could just indicate movement patterns you have throughout the day. Yeah. Now, this might be where you want to stay, right? Maybe you're like, cool, I got this. I'm going to bring it up, press into the floor and lift up, and then slowly come down, other side. Whoop. Right? And as we go from side to side, you'll notice what your body says, right? Good. Yeah. It says, push into that big toe mount. Yeah. Maybe it says, I'm not as strong on this side as I thought I was. Or maybe it says, yeah, I'm much stronger than I thought I was. Now, if for any reason you're like, okay, I want to get up and down, but I feel like I'm going to drop. Use your hands on your thigh. Push. We already made it here, right? We've already done that move. And then we're just going a little bit farther, right? So guess what this is real important for? Getting up and down off the ground. Yeah. Now, if that's easy and you want more challenge, no problem. You take it onto a different plane. Right? So yeah, stay there. Yeah, step to the side, and then you rotate towards that foot. And maybe you do it with your foot down. And then you keep your knee over your toe as you come back to center. Yeah. So you bring it forward and out, and then you press to look towards that foot. Yeah. Couple more. Breaks are great. If you need one, take one. And once again, you can stay even where you were before. Make sure you hold the part of the balance where the challenge is, right? That's part of the excitement of the move, is like slowing it down. Yeah, last one each side. I may have already said that, but it was definitely a lie. All right, now it's the last one. And grab your weights. No. Ah. Now bring your feet together. Squeeze your inner thighs. Do you mean to have different weights? Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, it's very like Christmas chic because it's a red and a green. Yeah, cool. Now, if you want, lift one foot. Yeah. And we just, you all right, friend? And then other side. Yeah. Now maybe you switch them midair. Yeah. Good. So the great thing about wearing masks, you guys, is I can lip sync to Lizzo and nobody's the wiser. So when I've walked home without one, I've had people be like, what is she doing? So it's the whole way home. Good. How are these feeling? Great? Good. Now, maybe this is where you stay. Maybe you bring your arms up and press them overhead and slowly decelerate, right? Yeah. So if you bring them up, it's still bicep, and then you're gonna push from your deltoid. You're gonna keep that arm in the socket with your rotator cuff. Be careful, you know, on the side. And 2. Trying to make sure that the arms don't lift because the shoulders lift, right? The shoulders can eventually lift, but they're not initiating it. And then we get to do the other side. Yeah. So squeeze the inner thighs, push down. All balance all the time. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. We start with one arm. And then you can either bring it down or you can switch them. Yeah. Gorgeous. Letting the shoulders relax. Ah. This is my excitable side. I'm going to let my toe either tap down or press into my shin for a little support. Now, if this is where you are, fantastic. If you're ready, bring them both up. Exhale, push overhead, and slowly lower. So one of the things that our core is really, really used for is force transmission, right? Whether you are running or throwing a baseball or I don't know what normal people do. I'm like putting dishes away in a really fast-paced environment. You want to like be able to use your arms, core, and legs to all talk with each other, right? And the core is what allows the arms and legs to talk. Last one. Good. Nice. All right. Now, think about widening your collarbones like you're taking off a jacket. It's less of a traction and more of a widen. Elbows just gently hug at your sides. Now, instead of pushing your arms back, we're going to straighten your arms by pushing your knuckles down and then back and hold. Good. So you're, yeah. Widen your hands for me just a little bit. Yeah. Good. And then again, so you reach down and back, hold. Good. Now that hold is where the excitement is, right? Because then you can really feel. Katie, push your knuckles down for me a little. Yeah. Do you feel more tricep, less neck? Yeah. That's where that excitement lies, because we really get to feel what's working. Should be, hopefully, back of the arm. Hold. 2 more. Good. Now, even if you don't have weights, it's the same thing. You're just kind of squeezing the back of your arm. I can still feel this like crazy because my intention is to squeeze as if somebody's about to take my picture from behind and I want to like pop the tricep and look over my shoulder, right? 2 more. Last one, squeeze, hold. Now, tiny little presses. Just think about straightening your elbow a millimeter more, unless you already hyperextend, in which case, don't straighten it more, just squeeze the tricep more. Yeah. 3, 2, last one. All right, we're going to row. Let's set our weights down for 1 second. Okay, so a lot of times when we go to row, that pec minor is kind of pulling our shoulders forward. So bring your hands to your shoulders, and I want you to think about your shoulder blades tucking in the back pockets. It's less of a retraction, more of a rotation. So everybody squeeze your shoulder blades together, and now stop squeezing them together. Think about your armpits pointing forward. Yeah, good. And then relax, and then tuck your shoulder blades under, armpits point forward. Point your elbows towards me more. Yes, good. One more, elbows point forward with the armpits. Relax a little. Think about this. And then elbows forward. Oh, yeah, there, that. Do you feel where your shoulder blades are now? That's where we're gonna go with our row. So think about tucking them in your back pocket, armpit and elbows forward. Yes, okay, that's where we're gonna go. So hold this, bring your elbows down. And once again, whether your elbows are in or out, you're still pushing them down a little, okay? Find your lower traps here. Just see if you can feel that without your neck kicking on. And then the arms will come forward, elbows down, find that shoulder blade position, down. Yes, yes, yeah. I can tell the difference, Dion. Yeah, yeah. So now you can either do that with no weight or with weight, okay? But finding that kind of tucked under position, it's not forcing the shoulders down, it's making the shoulder blades move down, right? Right, Stephanie? Right. Thank you. I'm watching you. I know. Yeah, good. Oh, I'm still watching, Dion. I'm just watching in the mirror. Like a creep, like, yeah. Or like Santa Claus. Hey, Katie, relax your shoulders. Yes. And then try not to pop up the ribs, right? So when we're here, if our erectors are trying to help, we go, right? So we want to keep the ribs in and down. So we're forcing those postural muscles to do the work. Keep the ribs down. Yeah. Good, Monica. Lisa, this doing okay? Okay. Good. 2 more. Last one. Gorgeous, everybody. We're coming all the way down. Now, we're going to use the ball. If you're at home and you don't have a ball, now is the time to break out the pillow. So we're going to bring this behind our mid back. And just kind of see if it's relatively comfortable. Hands will be behind our head. Now, if this doesn't feel good on your back, whether it's upper, lower, or mid, get rid of the prop, it's fine. We're going to slowly allow our whole spine to extend, but just check in with your body, right? So sometimes if we're missing thoracic extension, our lumbar spine and our cervical spine, so lower back and neck, do all the work, right? So I also want your rib cage to relax over the ball. On your exhale, draw your ribs towards your belly button, leading from your armpits and collarbones, curl forward. Good. I would actually scoot this far away from your ball. Scoot your hips towards me a little. Yeah. Yeah. So then that way you can come up just as high without your hip flexors doing as much. Does that feel more in the abs? Yes. Great. I would also move this. Yeah. Good. Yeah. And then we can always adjust as we go, right? Yeah. How's everybody feeling? Good? Good. Or just beyond, that looks pretty good. Let me see you curl forward again. Yeah, if you start getting into your hip flexors, scoot this far away from the ball. If not, stay where you are. Great. 2 more. We get to hold this last one. Now, when you're up, bring your fingertips forward. Looking forward, not up, we're going to push our fingertips into an imaginary surface. Good. And then slowly bring them up, try to maintain that. Yes, and slowly extend. Those were so fun, right? Good. We're going to do it a bunch more. So curl forward, belly button back. Push. Yeah. Scoot away from your ball. This far. Scoot your hips towards me, Nancy. Lift your butt, move it towards me. Yeah, good. Yeah. There we go. And then curl, and then push, and then hold. Don't lower, don't lower, don't lower, don't lower, don't lower. Yeah, and then slowly lower. Good, everybody. Good. Now, one way to make sure you're not lowering is to look straight in between your knees. Because if we look up or follow our hands, our body goes where our eyes do. One more like this. And then we get to change it up. I know you're all so excited. All right. Curl forward. Push forward and hold. One arm goes out to the side. Oh, you don't have to come up as high. Don't make the hip flexors do all the work. Make the abs do all the work. And then again, yeah, good. Like using the ball more for moral support than anything. I mean, that's fair. I'm here for moral support. Katie, okay? Good. So we're trying to curl away from the ball, just almost imagine hovering off of it. Yeah. Good. Lovely, everybody. One more each side. And then extend over. Yeah, so yours is also pretty deflated, which is normally fine. But if it's like not offering enough moral or physical support, we do have slightly more inflated ones. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. We're going to curl forward. Hands come forward. Push. You're up a little high. You're using your hip flexors. I'd move the ball back some. Yeah. Now flip your palms over. You're going to high five yourself because you deserve it. Now you're going to slide those fingertips forward a little and back and then forward a little. Don't go back as far, Dion. Think about your top fingers reaching farther and then just curl a little bit deeper rather than up higher. Yeah. Does that feel better or worse? Yeah. Okay, Monica? Look forward. You just look like you're giving up all hope. Good. 2, 1. Other side. Now, when we high five ourselves, if it's like a little half-hearted high five where the fingers barely meet the palm, rotate a little bit more. And then you can curl up a little bit more. Yeah. 5. Yeah, you're welcome. 4, 3, 2. Last one. Open the hands and we high five ourselves. And then open the hands and high five. Good. Now, if you can, high five because you're actually rotating your rib cage more than just moving the hands from the shoulders, right? We only have one more each side, unless you want to do more, in which case you can, but I don't, so I'm not going to. We're going to extend over the ball. Nice job, you guys. Oh, when you breathe, really let your whole torso expand. Now, if your ball is in the low back, roll it up a little higher so it's more on your mid back or rib cage, right? We're going to slide one foot out, curl forward, slide that foot in. Now, the exciting part, we're going to try, if your hip will allow, your knee and elbow to get towards each other, and you're going to push them into your knee and then extend. Yeah. And we're going to push for 3, 2, same side, 1. Yeah. So think of that armpit connection, right? So it's a little bit of serratus, a little bit of lat, a little bit of spice, a little bit of cinnamon. 2. Last one like this. Now we're going to switch to the other side. And if you don't have a ball at home, it's the same move. You just don't necessarily arch, right? You just still curl forward. It's the same thing, right? Okay. Same elbow for this one. Unless you did opposite elbow last time, then keep doing opposite, because when we do opposite in a moment, you can just do same. 2 more. Last one. Now, if you need to come off of the ball, come off of the ball. Otherwise, all we're going to do, rotate, opposite, and then extend, set that foot down, bring the other leg up, opposite. Now, if you're like, okay, I can do that, but I'd like more challenge, Audra. Okay, fine. Scoot your hips a little bit away from the ball, bring both legs to tabletop, and you push the foot away. You could also tap the foot away. Good. We're almost there. Anybody else's abs on fire? Yeah, okay. 2 more each side. It's, yeah. Last one, each side. Feet down, extend, and relax. Now extend both legs out. Go ahead, support your head as you come up. Bring your hands forward and curl. We're going to move the ball. We are doing some roll-ups. So if there is a way that you feel more successful with roll-ups, by all means employ that method, right? So if you need to bend your knees or have a prop behind you or use a weight to help you, no problem. If you're using the weight, make sure it doesn't feel bad on your shoulders to be extended, right? So we're going to curl and slowly roll down. And then if you're using the weight, make sure that your arms are relaxed. Don't take your arms back as far because we're challenging the core, not just your shoulder joint. And then you slowly roll up, right? And maybe the weight isn't where you are today because it makes the roll up too easy or makes the shoulder position harder. In which case, get rid of the weight. If your hip flexors are tight like mine, bend your knees a little. So that looked good. Just exhale more. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. So just go. Like force some of the breath out of your lungs, and that'll make it a lot easier. Yeah. Yeah. Boom. See? Yeah. Good. Couple more. I'm watching you guys too. Now, if a pad under your back or knees bent and a weight still is really hard, maybe it's because your hips are tight. Maybe you have a little bit more space in between your back and the ground. You can always Use your own leg to get up, no problem. Yeah. If that's still a bit much, you can even roll onto your side and help yourself up and just focus on the down, right? We have just a couple more. Stephanie, try not to retract your left shoulder quite as much when the arms are overhead. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah, it happens. Good. Dion, use your breath more. More. Yeah. Then slow it down more. Slow it down more. Okay, look, since Dion said it's too easy for him, we're going to do neck pull. So bring your hands behind your head. Close your ribs. Now, if neck pull is not where you are today, it's no problem. We're going to do some roll-ups. Like, just keep going with those. So Dion, you're going to hinge, and anybody else who wants to do neck pull is going to hinge. Hold your hinge. Make those abs work, yeah? And then curl and slowly descend. And then keep your hands behind your head as you come up. Slowly. Yeah. And then lengthen through your head, hinge, and curl and roll. Now, if you're like, I've almost got this, but there's one spot I get stuck, bring your hands forward for that spot. Breathe. Yeah. We have only one more. Good. Nice, Monica. Yeah. Breathe. Yeah. And nice job, you guys. We're going to end with another plank. Little side plank treat for everyone. So once again, if your side plank is here or here, fantastic. If it's here, equally fantastic. If you're here or here, great. I'm going to be on my forearm. Nancy, of course, you can be on your hands. Anybody else who wants to be on their hand, great. We're going to rotate down and then other side and hold. If you fall down, I would say bring the knee down, right? You could also stay on the hip for the side and knee for forward and hip for the side. So I would prefer no falling. But if you can't, like if you have to fall in a controlled fashion, right? Defy gravity even with your fall. One more each side. You guys are amazing. You're all amazing. Come back to center. Press yourselves into your rest position. Hands up and over to one side. Press your hips away. And then other side. And we're coming all the way to standing. So we've done a lot of balance work when it comes to our our muscular system, but we're going to do a tiny bit of balance work for our ocular and vestibular. Okay, so bring one foot in front of the other as if you're on a tightrope. These are our last exercises, you guys. Now, Monica, step that way a little to get, yeah, there. So good. I just want to make sure that nobody has like a lot of obstacles in their path. Now, if you're on the squishy mat, fantastic. It is more work. So maybe this is where you are. Maybe you close your eyes. If as soon as you close your eyes, you start to fall over, open your eyes, please. First line of defense, right? Yeah. Now, maybe eyes closed is too easy, in which case you start taking your head over your shoulder. One more each side. And come back to center, switch feet. So the good news is this might be your stable side. The other good news might be maybe this is your challenge side and you get to work it, you get to identify it. So feel free to stay here or close one or both eyes. If you are closing one eye at a time, you accidentally make eye contact with someone, wink at them, right? Like be friendly. And then you can always take your head over. Oh, This is an exciting side for me today. If you feel that kind of wobble that your ankle does, that's just called noise. That's just your proprioceptors finding where they are in space. One more each side. Bring your feet together, flip your palms to the sky. Open your collarbones to the sky. And come out of it and give yourselves a round of applause. Very, very nice work today, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. You're all fantastic.